tea. I am here as Jessica Samuels, the CEO of Evolve Career, and this is one of my favorite things to do with my clients. They are career celebration calls when we have a win. We just got a new awesome position, executive role as well. So I am going to turn it over to you, Lindsey, to share what is your new role and where are you working and what will you be doing to help change the world?
I'm going to be leading the change management initiatives for a large SaaS implementation at Edward Jones. This takes me into the financial industry, which I am very much looking forward to learning more about.
I love it. I'm so proud of you. And so I've got to hear the tea, right? Like what made this offer so unbelievable that you had to say yes to it?
Yeah, so definitely a pay raise, which is exciting. It also, though, really fits into my lifestyle. So one of my non-negotiables was that it was remote, having access to internal learning platforms to continue growing my skill sets, relationship building. Obviously, it's a large Fortune 25 organization, so that was really important to me. So I have all of those things and more, and a really understanding leader that understands about work-life balance. So that was really, really invaluable for me as well.
I think that is a phenomenal piece to add. All right, so let's keep going, right? How did you land this position after a few of our sessions?
Of all of the roles that I applied to and applied, I did not apply for this role. Because of all the work we've done on the LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn page, a recruiter actually reached out to me. It kind of goes, I think I have a spreadsheet. I have like well over 80 applications, and the one thing I didn't apply for is the role that
So it's like we're getting, a 5-figure promotion pay raise, and then we're also getting an amazing boss and a Fortune 500 company. And oh, by the way, the hidden job market that you were telling me about, Jessica, actually works, right? Yeah.
Yep,
So you
yep.
positioned yourself like crazy, especially when we were working on your LinkedIn profile and your branding and even your resume. It was screaming to folks like, I gotta have this person on my team. So way to go with finding this opportunity. And so then when you landed the opportunity through the recruiter outreach, how did the interview process, what would you say was the most meaningful preparation that we did while you were having these interviews?
Honestly, because of the work that we've done on my resume, I already had those stories locked and loaded based on what we talked about and based on those updates that we made to the resume. So that was really helpful. That really helped in the interview process, following the interview protocol, and those questions too, right? So making sure that I had the right questions to ask back to them. It showed that I was engaged and obviously done research on the company as well. So really following that protocol was absolutely essential. And when you walk out of an interview and you're like, oh, I nailed that. Like I nailed that. And honestly, not just for this role, but I will say, since working with you, every single I've had the pleasure of having certainly more interviews than I'd had prior to working with you because of the positioning that we did. And so I've been interviewing a lot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I rock that. Like I know I'm leaving the interviews like having absolutely nailed it. So that is also a really good feeling.
I love that. And that's a complete shift from when the confidence level that you came in. I'm going to shift into, the before and after. When we were in our career coaching sessions, we worked on so much. What was maybe the top 2 key takeaways from something that maybe you haven't mentioned yet that you just said, I didn't even think about that?
The networking piece, I think, was really huge with LinkedIn. It was great learning for me as I'm having these networking calls and networking conversations that you don't always realize what's even out there in the industry until you start having those conversations. So I think that was something new. I talked about the LinkedIn and the resume already, but I cannot stress those enough on how valuable and how important that work was, because truly, I mean, I think I'm not gonna, I know, naughty on me. You'd said hidden job market, and I was like, girl, where? I don't see it. And you were like, yeah, I know. I told you it was hidden, Lindsey. That's why you don't see it. And I was just like, that is not going to happen for me. That sounds really great for other people. Good for them.
I'm going to get on this job board and apply my life away and pray that the role comes, right?
And
what we said was we're going to work the open job market, and we're going to get access to this hidden job market, and we're just going to see which one lands. I probably should start betting my clients on like how you're going to. I should bet. I should really start to do that, because 80% of my clients end up finding a role and that is not posted. And one of my clients, just I spoke to her on Tuesday, she's like, do you know that I did this networking thing? And I was not buying it. I wasn't going to tell you that, but I was not buying it. I've had 10 conversations this week. And someone's like, I want to put you on a paid board position like next week. So it works, right? It works. And the other part that I love that you mentioned the LinkedIn profile and the resume work, right? Because you were unknowingly shrinking in your collateral. And we did some edits and revisions to fully present all that you can bring into a role. So I just love it. You started shining like, yes, that is me on paper. And so, what would you say to someone's on the fence with hiring me as their executive career coach and they're in a state of transition? What do you tell them?
You need an executive coach, especially like in general, and then obviously Jessica, 1,000% in your corner. It does not take away from who you are or what you've done. It's sort of like you are already a fabulous dish on your own, but without those spices, without those seasonings, without great presentation, no one is going to actually see, taste, and love how fabulous you are. And so for me, that's really what you have brought to me and brought to coaching. It's the salt, it's the seasoning, it's the presentation, right? Yes, I was great, but you made me even better. And now it's one of those like beautiful dishes that you see in a cookbook or like on a blog recipe, right? And so I think that is something that you owe it to yourself. If I can kind of go back to the Lindsey that was on the fence, I owe it to myself to give myself my best shot, and you helped give me my best shot.
Oh, Lindsay, that is so sweet. And thank you for trusting me. And thank you for allowing me to be in your. It just was a joy to see you not only blossom in your confidence during this job search, but to land an amazing role that is helping you continue to grow in your executive career. So kudos to you. Kudos to your family. I am so excited to see where you are in just a few months when you transition into this new role and start making some magic. So,
Thank you. You're not done with me, by the way. You're my coach. Like we're gonna keep going. So I just don't act like this is a goodbye. It's not.
it is not a goodbye. I know, and I
Okay. I just want to make sure you're on notice that you don't get to leave me. Okay.
I'm not going anywhere. And I love that you mentioned that because I have so many repeat clients. They're like, it's 2 years later, 3 years later, I'm going for this C-suite role. I'm going for this SVP role. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I'm down. You've got a coach for life. And so I would be honored to continue supporting you and your network with whatever comes your way.
Fabulous.